Hi guys. Yo, yo, yo. Hey, hey, hey. Hi Nikki. Hi Patrick. Random Guy Rocket Season. Hey everybody. Or I guess, hey, are we French today? Bonjour tout le monde. How else do I say it? Bienvenue au Taytayski's paint night. Je suis ton prof. What's a teacher in French again? Oui, oui, bonjour. I'm your teacher, Tay. We're going to be painting the Eiffel Tower today, as seen below. Oh, did I put... This picture is also another thing that has been heavily stolen all over the internet. So I found it on a bunch of different websites, but here's the first one. I wrote it down there. I bet you can actually buy this and do it as a, paint by numbers if you want. But we're gonna have more fun. We're just gonna paint it ourselves, right? That's better, if you ask me. How are we doing? I know I keep only seeing you once a week now. It's weird. I'm sorry, you guys. It's a me. That's a me bad. Me bad? My bad? I'm coming, I know I keep been saying it all month, but I'm coming to the end of 2 crazy deadlines. And I'm going to be such a happy girl when they're done, so I just don't have loads of free time right now. But after September 8th, they are both done. And you'll get me back again full time. Alright? So, who's painting today? Are we got any newbies? Paris was requested, I'm not going to say heavily requested, but somebody asked to do something Paris themed, and it was perfect because I was literally in Paris a year ago today. And it kills me a little on the inside. My nephew was born today. Happy birthday, Hayes. He's 1. So that's exciting. We'll always have Thursday, exactly. Don't worry, guys. I won't leave you on Thursdays, but soon we'll be back to normal. Me and Kenzie are figuring out some fun shows we can do too. Like, I know a lot of you here probably weren't around back when we were doing, what's the game? It is... Why can't I think of it? Oh my god, it's on the tip of my tongue. Pictionary Air, that's what it was. Where, like, you draw, like, 3D, basically, and all you guys were playing along with us, and that was so much fun. So we might try to do something like that again. I don't know. But right now, I'm just, like, horse blinders with these projects that I'm working on at the moment until they're done, because they're huge contracts for those. So, that's what's happening in my life at the moment. But you guys don't really care. You just want to come paint with me, right? That's what we're really here for. Hello, Dresden. Hi. How you doing? Are you excited to paint some Paris today? I know I've said this every time. These, like, landscapey ones are, like, hard for me, too. So we're going to figure this out together. That's why I picked, like, a painty one. Where, so it's, like, easier for me to mock for you guys as well. Because I just paint faces, you guys, and animals. And so when it comes to, like, landscapes and stuff, for some reason my brain just has a hard time. So we're gonna do it together and enjoy it, okay? What's nice about today's painting is it's just black, white, and red. That's all we're doing. Dresden has faith. That's all that matters. I appreciate it. We will do it together. Yeah, it's just black, white, and red. Easy peasy. We're gonna use a lot of white. It's gonna be a lot of white. I'll give you guys that from the beginning. We're not really gonna have to draw something. We're gonna do a little different where we're starting with the background first. Crazy, I know. We don't ever do that, but that's what's happening today. Nikki's at work again. Hey, that's okay. We love that you still come and hang out with us. You know that you'll be able to do it on YouTube if you want. We love having you in the peanut gallery because we know here in my studio it's really important for you peanut galleries as well to keep me from being really awkward and quiet up here, okay? So that's a positive. Let's see. Ugh. Next week I'll do it 100%. You took it off for your birthday. Are you saying that next Thursday is your birthday? So we have another birthday. What are we painting then? Nikki, you decide. That's exciting. Because I'm awkward. I get awkward if you guys are talking and everyone's just painting away, which is fine. I don't expect you to have to talk all the time. But I get weird up here because then I don't know what to talk about. And then I get awkward in my head like, I gotta be talking. And then it just snowballs into awkwardness for everyone. So, you know, it happens. Oh, yes. Okay, Nikki sent... Yeah, I'll show the class quick. You heard it here first, you guys. We're painting a... Where are you, Nikki? Can't find you on here. We're painting a cutie little monkey. He has glasses on. It's adorable. Oh, there you are. You guys, are you kidding? Look at that little guy. Should we paint him next week? Well, not should we. We are, because it's Nikki's birthday. And when anybody decides to spend their birthday with us for a paint night, you get to decide. Ah, Dresden, thank you. And random guy, hello. Always great to see ya. Okay. Let's see if there's some more people straggling in here. I guess it's almost 10 after 8 when I usually start. We only have a couple rules around here, okay, you guys? The main one is trust the process. Things are gonna look weird. Oh, my Lanta. Things are gonna look weird. You're not gonna think it looks right. You're gonna be stressed, potentially. I don't know. I don't know you, but I can assume. And some people give up halfway through, and that's just not acceptable. So trusting the process means you're in it from the start to the end. You're gonna be proud of that Eiffel Tower we've got at the end there, okay? And rule number 2 is... What are my rules, you guys? I guess rules is a strong word. Thing number 2 is ask me questions. Let me know if I'm going too fast. That happens sometimes. I just talk and talk and talk. So if I explain something poorly, if you didn't catch something I said, don't be scared to ask, because you can be helping somebody who might not be able to comment, or somebody who's watching this YouTube video down the line in the future. You might be the real MVP for them. So, you like when I talk because I'm informative. Thanks, random guy. See, I try. Just sometimes my brain just goes, and I don't know what I'm saying. So, that's why I appreciate the peanut gallery. All y'all who aren't painting but come and hang out. You're the best. But I think those are like the 2 main rules, right? Trust the process, ask me questions, and like have fun. We're having fun here in Taytayski studio. Not a bad time was had, okay? You come here to forget about the world and just to hang out with a bunch of like-minded people and paint along with me. And at the end, I show everybody's paintings. Maybe even halfway through sometimes. If people are struggling or want to see what other people's looks like, I show that too, so that you can feel better. And just if yours doesn't look exactly like mine, nobody's does. Okay? So, you painter, you're not the best. I'm the best. We can play this game all day. Okay. So we are gonna start our painting. Mrs. Crack Max, are you here, by the way? If you're not here right now, you'll be at least here. You'll hear me shout you out in the future. Because she was very excited to do a Paris-themed paint night today. Okay. You guys ready? It's gonna be easy. We're gonna have fun. Take a breath. I have to take a breath too. Not stressed. You can use the biggest brush you got. It can be pointed. It can be square if you want. I don't know. Maybe. If that's what floats your boat. Okay, look, this one, you can use like a rounded and a squared one. Oh. Whatever you want, but you want it big, big circumference, big space area. What am I trying to say? Lots of bristles. Because we're just going to be slobbing some paint around, okay? It's the best part. It's so much fun. It's stress-free. We're going to look at our reference photo at the bottom here and see how the background looks. Okay, it's all kind of dark gray, light gray in the middle. Really paint strokey. It's kind of like implying like a cloudy day in Paris, which is a very normal thing, I feel like. So, we're going to take that big brush that we got, right? And we're going to take a big slob of white paint. And we're going to take a little bit of black. You're going to be careful with your black because black is very powerful. And it'll overcome any paint that you use, any color you use, can turn it to black really quickly. So it's always best to just put like little tiny touches of black into your pile of white. And we're going to try to make like a darkish gray. If you look at our picture, like look at the top area of the photo that we're looking at. We're kind of trying to make that color of gray. Might help you to get your paintbrush wet and kind of pull your paint around. It's okay if it's not mixed perfectly. We kind of want it to be a little messy mix together. And be mindful that your paint on your palette is going to dry darker on your canvas, okay? We're just going to start throwing some paint around, okay? And you can literally do exactly this. If you find that your paint isn't pulling across the canvas well, just keep dipping it back into your water, but you do want really thick paint to come on here. If you've been in my paint nights before, you're aware of like the chocolate milky consistency that we usually start our paintings with, where it's lots of water and not as much paint. But we're doing the opposite right now. We want to get a big expressive background. And I'm kind of, my brush strokes are kind of going in a direction like they would be surrounding the Eiffel Tower, but it doesn't really matter at this point. They can be pretty messy. Happy Thursday, Svengali. Good to see ya. It's Paris themed today. So the beauty of this slobbing on process is that now you can dip that dirty wet paintbrush. It's still the same color of the paint that we were using, but now you're just going to get a little slob of white on there. And now you can start mixing that into our already wet paint and kind of being sporadic with it. Because it's totally okay if the background isn't clean. We want it to be like messy and crazy. That's the whole point of this dreary, what am I trying to say, rainy day in Paris. Going to Paris was really cool for me because I'm an art school kid, right? So I took lots of art history in art school. You had to, every semester, you had to have an art history class, or every year you had to have art history class. And a lot of it comes right out of Paris, so it was cool to be there and like see the stuff I learned about. So as we're slobbing paint around, you guys, we're acknowledging that the lightest is going to be in the middle and the darkest is on the outside. Okay. I feel like I should have tried to find some like uncopyrighted Paris playlist for us to feel like we're just in a little cafe or something. How's it going, you guys? How's the slobbing? Oh, it's kind of dark down there. That's okay. I'm trying to keep the darker on the outside. And guys, you shouldn't be trying to be too precious and thoughtful about your brush strokes right now. The beauty's in the inconsistencies for now, for sure. Oops. I just added a little more black in there. Not the end of the world. Again, though, trying to keep the darkest to the outside. And once you get into the middle, keep adding more white to it. Water is your friend to blend some stuff around. My paintbrush, like, even if you have a bigger paintbrush than what I'm using, it might even be better. I know there's some Americans on here, but there's a couple of Canadians. Do you guys speak French as well? You Americans too. Does anyone else speak French out there? You can even use, like, remember some people might want to use this square brush. Doesn't matter, you can keep using the same brush, you can change brushes around. This is just like a fun part of painting, just like let your stress out. Your tongue won't let you. See, you know what's really funny is, so, like, I grew up French. Well, not grew up fully French, but I went to French immersion. My grandparents on one side spoke French, my mom spoke French. I spoke fluently most of my life until I, like, stopped taking it in school, and then it's so easy to lose. It's so easy to lose a language if you don't, like, continue speaking it, reading it, writing it, etc. But my boyfriend speaks Romanian, and they roll their R's differently than French people. Like, they roll it at, like, the tips of their tongue, because I can only roll it in the back of my tongue. Like, versus, I don't even know if I can do it. It's hard for me at the top. But they also, like, pronounce their vowels way differently. Oh, so it's so hard. Since I'm already, like, trained in French, to learn Romanian is very difficult for me. I guess ask and you shall receive. I just got a non-copyrighted Paris song. Shall we listen? Let's see.
Searching for music for your next video? Then you need to check out art.
You need to stop advertisement. Okay. Okay, how are our backgrounds going? Justin. We'll just listen to this on repeat the whole time. Okay. If this ain't pretty, I don't know what is. Non-copyright music is hard, you guys. I've already thought about my thumbnail. I feel like I have to have, like, a little, like, Paris mustache in it. Right? Travailler poulet. Okay. Thanks, Justin, for being so quick on that. Okay, guys, depending on, do you want, like, a violent sky? Not a violent sky, but, like, a more stormy sky. You can get a little more dark on your brush. And you can roughly add in some more dark colors up there. Justin woke up from a nap at the right moment. What would we do without you, literally? I'm just adding a little more black up here just for fun. Just trying to make a expressive background with no rhyme or reason. I always say that too. Don't worry, guys, there's no rhyme or reason. Just, like, slosh it around. Working wet on wet sometimes. Oh, and that was the end. Sorry, guys. We'll bring it back when the time's right. Don't you worry. Oh, that's so funny. Okay. We're still going with our background. Oh, maybe get a little more dark up there. This should be a quick one, but I feel like maybe I should just bite my tongue. Every time I say it's going to be quick, it ain't quick, and I just push it till the end. But actually, Rosie, for some of you, Rosie's just a household name around here, but someone special to Rosie requested a Paris night for his girls. So I don't think she's here today, but when they watch it live, they'll see that it's thanks to a special someone in Rosie's life. Okay, how's that feeling? Messy and crazy, but fun. Remember, we're putting the tower right in the middle of this. It might even help us a little bit to let it dry and put some more white through the middle, like pure white. Totally up to you. Looks a bit stormy, but that's kind of like what we're going for, I feel like. When I look at the picture, it looks a little stormy. And the people aren't wearing umbrellas. You know, if we don't want it to be stormy, best bet is going in there. Oh, you're agreeing. Okay, good. But we can bring, like, see, I have pure white on my brush with a little bit of water. And we're going to go right down the middle and just kind of lightly buff with, again, see how I'm going right into the paintbrush? I mean, into the pure white with my paintbrush. I'm going to dip it into the water and right back again. And then just lightly kind of buff in some white right down the middle. Because we're really going to help that big, like, black Eiffel Tower stand out and have nice high contrast against this background. But remember, you guys, white's your friend. You can't do anything wrong here. This is, like, fun. Sometimes I realize how ditzy I sound when I say this. Guys, this is, like, fun, right? It's fine. There you go. Working wet on wet is fun sometimes. Like when the paint on the canvas is already wet and you go in with your paintbrush, it's kind of nice to see how that blends out well. But okay. I think we've got a nice base to work with. If you want to make some like clouds, that's just buffing out some more little white spots. It's all playing with the textures on your brush, the pressure on your brush, the amount of water, the amount of dryness, whatever. It's kind of a lot of you just playing and seeing what happens. It's hard to teach exact with words. It's best for you to like feel it out with your paintbrush on the canvas. But, okay, now I'm just picking. Let's just leave that. I'll let you guys have a little bit more time. But that's kind of cool. Let's see it close up. See how there's lots of like motion in there? It's darker at the top, dark at the bottom. If you want to be... Why don't we put some splatter in it? While we wait. Again, completely optional point, but I might as well teach you guys regular... Let's see, why isn't this in the middle? Some of my regular techniques that I use on every single painting. So I'm taking a big old brush. Again, you can play with sizes. You can use a tiny brush. You can use a medium brush. They all give you different types of splatter, but again, feeling it out for yourself. So, maybe this is best so you can see. Put that up there. Maybe not. Sorry, guys. Okay. So we're going to try to do that chocolate milky consistency that I was speaking of earlier. So this is the best way to do that, is to take the paintbrush you're using and literally scoop water out of your dish, whatever you're using to put water in. You're going to add like a tiny touch of white. It's more water than paint. When before we were using more paint than water, now we're using more water than paint to get a chocolate milky consistency of your paint down here. I don't know if you see me kind of mixing my brush around in that watery concoction. Okay, okay, okay. You can give a couple taps. Go back into your water, give a couple taps. It's a little too thick still. And I always say go like a hangs loose distance away from your painting. And you're gonna literally flick the paintbrush. I guess some people were flicking like the bottom of the brush, but I flick the bristles. Again, I guess if you've never done this before, it's probably best to put down some newspaper, paper towel, something of some sort of protection from the splatter, as it can be a disaster sometimes, as it's like all over me. I'll bring it close so that you guys can see. You can also put the painting straight down and flick down if you want to maybe try to stop it from flicking that direction as much. But see that close up? Gets like some nice little splatter. Maybe it's snowing, maybe it's raining, maybe it's stars. I don't know. It's whatever you want it to be. Opa! Okay. There we go. It's not Tay without splatter, runs, or glitter. Dresden is correct. Cool. Okay, and well, hey, talking about glitter. So this would be the best time probably to use glitter if you wanted to. So when your painting is wet, you lay it flat, take whatever glitter you want. Usually I suggest you putting it into your hand first and then sprinkling it. Maybe I should do that. How can I do this? Just because it comes out crazy, and sometimes you don't want just like big concentrated spots of glitter. Like maybe you just want to lightly sprinkle it across where you put some of that splatter, some of that wet paint. And the paint, as it dries, will lock in that glitter and give your painting a little some extra pizzazz. Can you see in the cat? Yeah, you can. Ooh, check that out. Also, usually you'd leave it flat for a while to lock in that dry, but I don't have that luxury, which is totally okay. I just have glitter all over my clammy hands. Okay, dokay. We're probably gonna have to chill for a minute or two just because we need this background to dry completely before we start painting that Eiffel Tower on there. I am going to change a couple things visually in the painting just to keep some balance in it. Because like when you look at it, it's very heavily like on the right side. There's this big tree, but there's the lamp as well. I'm going to put the lamp on this side for us just to kind of... That's just the designer in me. The small designer, because there's not much designer in me, but the small designer in me doesn't like how unbalanced it is when I look at it. So we're going to change that up a little bit. I'm just going to critique whoever painted this. Sorry. It's a beautiful painting. Okay. Okay. So water, I know if you've seen before, like changing out your water is sometimes very beneficial in the process because it could be very dark and gray and mucky right now, and that'll translate into our other colors. At the moment, it's okay because we're just going to go into straight black paint after this, but we'll probably have to change out our water before we add that little pops of red in there. You sent a picture of a portrait you tried to do. Did the dark to light. Now that's a good student. Let me see. Okay. This deserves to be shown on the computer. You guys. Look at that. Are you kidding? That's beautiful. I've been practicing and was able to make a decent portrait. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did, Nikki. Very good. Oh, I'm so proud. Good job. Freaking beautiful. You've been painting up a storm over there in Ontario. And you didn't miss the button. Tristan. I'm gonna get you one day. Okay. How are we doing on our backgrounds, you guys? Still a little wet? Usually if... It's hard. I never know what you guys can see on the screen. If you see paint reflecting, it's really shiny, that is usually means it's not ready yet. It needs a little bit of extra time. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Nikki. That was great. Look, everyone, Nikki is learning stuff on these paint nights, and she's going off and just painting up a storm on her own and making beautiful work. Give me like 4 seconds. I just have to go check the door. I think I heard a doorman. Give me a second. And then this will be dry, and we're going to start painting some stuff on there, okay? Okay. It was. It's weird. I'm glad he didn't ring the doorbell because it's annoying on my stream, but at the same time, I would have missed the knock. Okay. That probably wasn't enough time to let this dry, but I'm going ahead, you guys, unless anyone says otherwise. We're just starting with the bottom half first. Just as another PSA, you guys, when I offer or show you what paintbrush size or type I'm using, play by ear for you. Like, if your painting's way bigger, maybe you want a bigger one. Maybe your painting's smaller and you like smaller brushes. Maybe you like only using square brushes. Like this. Which, to be honest, I do. I've been using more square brushes than anything recently. You can make a really nice thin line on it. Not everyone has square ones. I feel like I do most of the paint nights in these pointed ones because this is like the average, I feel like, that most people have. But I'm going in with this same guy that I did the whole background with. And I'm just going to decide where the base of our painting is going to be, like the base of our Eiffel Tower, where that like horizon line is going to go. Oop, I'm thinking about down here. And again, depending on how precise of a painter you are, these steps are completely up to you. Do you want to get a ruler and measure exactly how high on both sides so you make sure that line is straight? Go for it. If you are lazy like me and don't care if things are a little bit wobbly or off, then let's just go for it. We're just going to go into some straight black paint. And I like use a pinky. If your painting's wet, it usually doesn't help, but I use a pinky to kind of stand steady myself. And I'm just gonna lightly add some water to your brush you can pull across. Draw a line. Is that straight? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Nope. Oh, now it's for sure not straight. but that's okay, because it's just a point of reference, and we're going to paint the crap over that. This is how I paint myself, so I go, whoops, guess we got to add a little extra. Okay. Whoops counts in arts too. It does. It does. Okay. So this is roughly where the line of our painting is going to go. Am I right? Am I right? From here down, it's just kind of, we're just playing with some texture down there. And from here up, we're going to be doing our Eiffel Tower. Always turns out fabulous. See, Bubsy? Because we trust the process, right? You didn't see my process. I've talked about it before. If I usually hate my paintings halfway through, like they go through a stage where I just like don't even want to look at them because they don't look like what I pictured in my head or something, and I just don't like it. And that means I'm just on track. That's perfect. So I give it a timeout. I like turn the paintings literally to the wall in my studio or like in my closet, and I work on other stuff, and then I come back to them after their timeout is done and go look at it with fresh eyes, and then you can assess what you need to do to make it better. So, there's nothing wrong with that. So one part, though, that I know I just went on talking about, like, I don't care if my painting's wobbly or not. But some people out there might worry. Just as we are doing the Eiffel Tower, if you want to make a pencil line straight, like a light pencil line straight down the middle of your painting to use as a reference point as you do the Eiffel Tower, do that now. Go for it. I was just trying to see if I had something small that I could do that with. Like, for example, like this is a watercolor pencil crayon. But with a ruler somewhat, like where's the center of this? I don't know, roughly here. And you'll have a light, like you guys won't see it on your screen, but you'll have a light line, a light viewpoint as to how to make your tower symmetrical or fit in the middle. Totally up to you guys. But that's what we're going to be doing next is the Eiffel Tower. And I chose a painting where it's not like particular. It's there's no really room for error. Not room for error? Does that mean it's hard? Like it's impossible to mess up. Okay? We've got this going. We are going to get a little paintbrush. Pointed. It can be way smaller if you want. Look how curved. Oh my gosh, this paintbrush is literally as curved as the actual paintbrush on my arm. Twins. Okay, we're going to start with just some pure black. We're using a good old small paintbrush. We're going to get it wet. And we're going to go into our black paint. And we're not doing that chocolate milky consistency, but we do want to add a little bit of water so that the paint pulls really nicely across the canvas. And this is a time, everyone's favorite part of the class, where I teach you guys the pressure points part. The brush pressure part. As you can see, I've done it a million times. I'm going to do it real quick here, just to show the pressure lesson. Thank you. See, look, I didn't even remember what it was called. So, if you look at the tip of this paintbrush, and I just press really lightly, see, it's just the tip. Oops. And I pull that across the canvas. It's super skinny. A very thin little line. But then if you look here, see how like the whole paintbrush, like I'm pushing as hard as I can. You can see it's completely flat against the canvas. And I pull that across. See how long or how thick of a line that is with the same paintbrush. So if you're trying to do these dainty little lines but you're pushing super hard, it's just going to be contradicting to what you're trying to do. So, it's all in the dainty fingers as we're laying down these light little lines, okay? And we're going to start by wherever you decided the middle of your canvas is, you're just going to make a small little line, and that's just going to be the top little, like, needle point. See that at the top there? trying to think what's the best way. How is the best way to teach this? We are gonna draw a line straight on down. You can use a ruler if you want. You cannot worry about it if you want. We're not going all the way to the bottom though. We're going about this far. Realistically, if you trust your paint, that if you think your paint can cover up on top of a black line, you can make this line go straight down. If you don't trust your paint, that's the only reason why I stopped, so that, see how the Eiffel Tower has a little hole in the middle, a little window? I don't want to set you guys up for failure. So that's why I skipped that spot and came on down again. But if you trust your paint, feel free to make that line all the way down to the bottom. It might really help as you lay stuff out. Realistically, you could do this with a Sharpie. There's lots of things you can do other than a paintbrush. You can do it with pencil first. You can do it with chalk first. You can do it however you are comfortable. So we've got that line straight down the middle. Now we have to decide how wide is this guy gonna be? Like how far is our Eiffel Tower coming out, bowing out to, right? You want it to be the same distance on either side of the center line. And you're just gonna pick. Let's see, you can sometimes use your paintbrush too to see if it is in the center point. If that made sense, I put my finger in the middle to the edge and then brought it over here to see to the middle to the edge where I'm making that Eiffel Tower bow to. Okay, how are we feeling? It's just more technical than usual, so I'm just trying to go slow. So we've got the base to where we think it is going to bow completely out to. And now we have to decide where that little half circle's going to go, right? And same thing, we want it to be on the same distance from the center line. If this is the center line, we want it to be on the same distance on both sides. And that's our center little circle. Now we're ready to make the full shape. Remember that the top point has a little stick out the top. Who do we got here? Zax! Hello! Happy belated birthday! How was the rest of the weekend? It was expensive. That's a good birthday. That's a good birthday. Potentially, I guess. I don't know what the money was spent on. I could be. That's fair. We have gone from the point. See, we've got the needle. We've decided where the top of that little bubble's gonna go. And this is about as wide as our Eiffel Tower is gonna go. Okay? And now is for the fun part. We're going to go from this bottom line and we're going to curve all the way up to the top. Okay? Or you can go top and curve out to the bottom. It's completely up to you which direction you want to go. Some people's, some strokes are easier for other people. But we're going to acknowledge where we made that hole, and that's kind of where it bows out. Okay? So we're going to come on down. Come on down. And then bow on out. Cabin in the mountains, friends, alcohol, board games, coffee, food. So good. Sounds like a dream. It's a great birthday. How's that line, you guys? Was it stressful? Or are we okay? It's okay if it gets too thick. It's okay if we need to bring it in a little bit more. But that's basically it. We gotta do the same thing on this side. Again, is it easier for you to start at the top and come down, or from the bottom and come up? You decide. But remember, a little bit of water on your brush is really going to help. See how my line broke in the middle there? That just shows that I didn't have enough water on my brush. I have to take that song off my playlist, Taylor. Finally, I remember. Remove from playlist. Okay, cool. How's that, you guys? It's basically an Eiffel Tower already. And now it's for the fun part where we lay down all these little lines. How long did I go to school for art? So, for like all of high school and elementary, like I took art classes if they were available, if they were an option. And then I went to like college for art school for 5 years. 4.5. Because I dropped out and then came back. But yeah, 4.5, 5-ish years like trained in college. But it wasn't really like technique, it was more like design, illustration, composition, color, theory, like that type of stuff. I just painted my whole life. So that's why I keep stressing, like, you just gotta do it, and you'll, like, feel it out and learn things as you go. So think it's needed to go to college for art? Not necessarily. I know for me as a person, I'm not good at, like, teaching myself, like, on YouTube or whatever. I need, like, a teacher to, like, shame me into doing it. The people pleaser in me, like, needs that, like, interaction. So for me, it was very important to go to art school because it taught me how to work hard, and I learned so many things. It was amazing. But I will not say that you can't learn what I learned at school through, like, personal experience or through YouTube and etc., etc. It really depends on you as a person. You know? I loved ACAD though. Like, I had the greatest time in art college. I learned so many amazing things, and I learned how to work hard, and I met so many great people, and I loved being around people all the time. Like, it was a great experience for me. But a lot of other people didn't have a good experience, so. Or a close friend to shame you. Exactly. Shout out, Justin. Your mother-in-law has her degree in art too. Do you know what it is? Like, what her degree is? So, like, mine is a Bachelor of Design majoring in illustration and character, and like minor character design. That's the tough thing, is art's such a wide range, so you can do so many different things with it. But okay, you painter, sorry for my tangent there, but yeah, I loved art college. That's my moral of the story. How did I meet Justin? Art college. Okay, so. Oh yeah, so she could be like painting. She could be, that's fair. Like, she could have a bachelor of arts, right? Is that a bachelor of art? Is that what it's called? I don't know. Art. There's some people who never went to school and are just like killing everyone, like blowing everyone out of the water, and that's possible too. So that's the beauty about art, is there's so many different directions to go through. There's no right or wrong way. Okay, back to Eiffel. We have got our tower basically started here. And what we got to start doing is kind of implying all the lines. So we're going to go above. If you drew the line all the way down, it's about 1 inch and a bit higher than the bottom. We're going to do one light little line. Again, if you find that your paintbrush isn't pulling well, add some water. Let's go like 1 inch above that, and let's make another line. And right above that is kind of where it's going to start bowing out a bit. So we are going to draw a rectangle. Again, always trying to be as conscious as you can that it's as symmetrical from the center line as it is. Let's make a rectangle. It kind of looks like an oil well or something right now. Can you tell I'm Albert? And we know that this little windows here, you can draw it if you want. A little half circle. That's where the middle is. We can make it thinner later if we need. For someone who doesn't learn well, you teach well. Sax. I forgot. I have to apologize. I was such a mess. I was such a mess on your birthday one. I'm glad you guys got some good Mickeys in the end, because I was just like out to lunch. I was running on fumes that day. But thank you. I'm glad that you guys enjoy my teaching style, because I never thought I would ever teach ever in my life. And it just kind of fell into place with these live streams, and it's super cool. I always tell people to like do my like more recent paint nights versus my old ones if you do it on my YouTube, because I feel like I wasn't as good at the start. But now if you do something for a long time, you like to get better at it, right? So I'm slowly getting better as we go. Okay, so we've got that little half circle. There's a line above it. There's another line above it. And then there's another little jut out. It goes a little touch over, not as much as this bottom jut out, just a little. And there we go. She walked into the living room and saw them and said, "Mickey, Mickey, Mickey." Ah, well, see, look, they're good Mickeys. And for some, like, if you've never painted before, you guys, all the Mickeys were recognizable. They're great. I never watched my videos back, because I just don't have the time, I guess, but I like had to rewind to see some things to like get some of the time points, and I just was like, wow, how did you guys even follow along what I was saying? I was just a mess. But I'm glad y'all had fun, so that's all that matters. Okay. So, do we have basically an Eiffel Tower? All we've really got to do in here is we've got a little half circle. And we got another half circle. You didn't notice anything different than normal? Well, I'm always usually a mess, that's fair, but that one was worse for some reason. I don't know why. I was running on not much sleep, and it was an interesting journey. Okay, so we like basically have an Eiffel Tower. From here, if you want to get some more lines in there, from the outside of our half circle, you're just kind of going to bring that up. This line goes all the way up beside our little half windows and matches up to our center line. Is this the Eiffel Tower from Paris or the little one from Vegas? I'd like to say Paris. There's no roller coasters around it, so, you know. Even though when I went to Paris, this is not what it looked like walking up to the thing either, so, you know, we're just building up to the facade that is Paris. Just kidding, I loved Paris, I'm not gonna say it was bad. But we basically have a tower, hey? I'm noticing as I'm drawing it here, that, like, mine's a little fat on the outsides. Like, maybe you had that problem too. And that is totally okay, totally fixable. And it's as easy as mixing. If you still have the grays you were using before, beautiful. If not, just mixing in a little white with a little bit of black. And just white outing that line, basically, until it becomes the thickness that you want it to be. Again, not a necessary step, but if this has happened to you at home, it's an easy way of kind of cleaning up without feeling like you have to paint over completely. You can white out, as I like to say, white out technique. Okay. So we have basically got, sorry, I'm always, especially with things so technical, I just have to always look back and forth to the picture to what I'm painting. I always suggest for you guys too, always use a reference photo, always look at what you're painting, and try to, like, you know, when you're a kid and you saw those two, there's like those pictures, not a kid, they still exist, I don't know why I said when you're a kid, in newspapers where there's two pictures and it's like, find the differences, and like the best way is to just like flip your eyes back and forth and see if anything like pops out at you that doesn't belong. That's what I suggest you do with your reference photos. Like, look back and forth, and be like, oh, I can see, like, oh, it's a little bit fatter up here than on the picture, and that's like a great way to tweak and clean up your image. And that's why paintings take me like 10 times longer than they ever used to when I first started my career, because I'm just like so particular now. And I do that all the time. I always like compare and make sure that they're perfecto, which is probably what made me cross-eyed in the first place, isn't it? Okay. We've got basically the Eiffel Tower. Now what we're going to do is start kind of giving it, so you're saying you get precious with the painting. I'm contradicting myself forever, aren't I? Yep. I do. I do. I'm a walking contradiction. I'm a hypocrite. But I guess because my details are... Yeah, I just... Look at me go. Emotionally attached, and that's okay. There you go. See? Look at that. I am an emotional artist. I've never lied about that. Daryl coming in with the updates, you guys. 3-0 Flames in the first 6 minutes. Wow. That's a good game. Okay. We are moving on to filling out that little Eiffel Tower. What we are going to do is make a dark gray. Hey, Zax, you don't gotta apologize. Any type of presence is great. I'm the best, you the best. Thanks for stopping by. Glad you had a good birthday. See y'all next Thursday. Oh, and thanks for the alarm. For the multiple alarms. Boy. Thank you. Just spoiling me. With the props. Thanks, Dax. Look, you don't gotta apologize about leaving early. Look, you're just leaving it with a storm. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thanks, Dax. Good night. Have a good day at work tomorrow. Thank you. Okay, we are mixing just like a darkish gray. It's not black, but it's a pretty dark gray, which means just basically adding more black than you usually would to your pile of white. And we're going to start by just making some bubbles down at the bottom. And by bubbles, I mean just like spinning that paintbrush. Same on this side, just spin that paintbrush with that dark gray. Mine's a little more watery than I'd like. You want it to be more paint than water. And we're making those trees at the bottom, okay? Again, no rhyme or reason, totally okay if it's messy. You can even, it could be fun if you want to add a little more paint to your paintbrush when there's paint on it, and see that, how I did there? Added some drips. That could be cool. We might cover up some of them with the bottoms, but some drips are cool. And again, that's when your paintbrush is loaded and you are adding a little bit of water to the brush. Remember, this is a really dark gray, almost black, but not. And I'm just roughly spinning any size brush you want. Again, just fun. And once we've laid down where some of those trees are going to go, we're going to start filling in some parts of this tower. And it's literally just going to be little lines. I'll bring it close so that you can see it. And it's totally, you don't really want them to be perfect. It's totally okay if they are uneven on some sides or there's not the same amount of space in between them. I'll bring it closer in a second. Do you see how there's really, it's not, no rhyme or reason. That's the best way for me to say it. I know I say it all the time, but if you make them exactly the same over and over again, it'll look way too, like, I know this is a mechanical piece, but, not piece, it's like a structured thing that is symmetrical. It's not one with nature, but it'll be, if there's even one, when you try to make it perfect and there's even one little inconsistency, that's all that your eye looks at is the inconsistency. But if you don't follow a path, and everything is a little bit off and a little bit not planned, then your eye just accepts it from afar like there's more detail in it than there actually is. I hope that makes sense. But again, this is more, it's important that they're just left to right, or right to left, whatever. It just matters that they are not up and down. We want them all to be lined. And see how I hardly even loaded my brush. I loaded my brush once and it went across the whole background. See that close up? Messy, messy, messy. But from far away, looks like something. Remember, we're not using pure black, we're using a gray. You can even fill up, I forgot up here, you guys. Look up, there's a nice shape. Oh my gosh, it's Sylar. Thanks for the pretty rainbow. Let me click it. Oh boy, rain and rainbows. How you doing? Welcome to the studio. We're painting the Eiffel Tower. She's going, oh, sorry, I tangented. I just filled up, you guys, that with a larger rectangle and a smaller rectangle. I colored that in with that dark gray. Skittles taste the rainbow. Okay, yeah. I miss traveling too. That's kind of why we're painting this Paris theme, because a year ago today I was in Paris. And everyone just wants to be where they're not right now. So we're just gonna pretend. Right now we're not in Calgary, Alberta. We are in Paris, France. Okay? Je m'appelle Taylor. Comment ça va? Ça va bien. But that's all I got. Est-ce que je parle à toilette, s'il vous plaît? Number 2 is the second thing I mean. Number 2 is the second thing I can say. Eclairs, baguettes, and more. That's all I got. See, there you go. And that's enough. Et les croissants. Okay, how did that go, everybody? See how they're just like messy, like whatever. We're going to be using light lines to define everything and clean it up. Final steps, okay? So we have got most of that laid out. Now we're going to go in with pure black. We're still using the same paintbrush, but maybe, again, if you're more comfortable with a small paintbrush, grab a small paintbrush. That's cool. But remember pressure. Press very lightly on your paintbrush if you want to do very small lines. And we're going to start at this bottom here. We're going to start from the top circle, and as we go around, we are going to just draw lines down, following the curve of our upper circle. I just lisped a little bit there. And again, like, it's okay if those lines don't fully touch the bottom. That's okay. We kind of want it to look a little messy. And even though it's going to feel weird, we're going to draw a line right across them. See that? It's coming together. And now we're going to go and we're going to go opposite of those little gray lines in certain spots. So where the white's peeking through, you're just going to go with your pure black. Do you see that? It looks super black right now because it is wet. It's going to dry a little bit, not as shiny. But in opposite spots underneath, we are going to go with some black lines. Opposite spots of the gray that we already put. It's going to start looking a little messy, but don't worry. We're going to pull it all together. If you want to get like technical behind where I'm placing these black lines, is we're going to be going where these original lines that we drew. Remember, there were some lines across. This dark is going to be like the shadow underneath those. So that's why I started with this line. We drew the dark black right underneath. And now right underneath this second line we drew just a couple more black, I don't know what you want to call them, like divots, little black lines. See, we're not going everywhere, we're just building up, adding some depth to the base. And y'all know I'm a sucker for white highlight. The white highlight is going to bring this entire magic together. So if we're following that same rule, remember we drew a line up here. We're just going to draw a couple black lines opposite of the grays. Underneath it. Again, right from far away, like it looks like the actual thing, but when you go close, it's literally just little slobs of paint. Oops, I missed in the middle here. We can do a couple dark ones in the middle here too. But I can't stress enough, it doesn't have to be particular. It's gonna feel like you have to, but a lot of like, so I looked into a couple other like tutorials of how to paint the Eiffel Tower, and a lot of them were like drawing a square and then drawing an X, drawing an X, drawing an X in every single little tiny spot, and I just felt like it looked so like, just didn't look as like painterly and, I don't know, nice. So, you can do that obviously if you want. I just thought we could try to some like painterly techniques so that you can kind of let go of some of the detail and see how just little slobs of color and value can really go a long way. And we're just going to add a couple black spots up along the neck. If there's a couple big white areas, you can fill them in a touch with black. You want some of the colors to pop through, but how's that? So see where I put all those black lines above the dark gray? And we're pretty close. And with this black still on our brush, you're going to do the same thing. We're going to do some little swirlies of just the bottom half of the dark gray swirlies we did. See how we're adding some value? Like this is the base of the trees, basically. The tops, we're going to add some white highlight to make them pop up, but this is the shadow on the bottom. And see, I'm letting it drip. That's cool. Remember, we're making it drip by just adding water to our already painty brush, like literally from the water dish onto my palette, or onto my canvas. Okay. How's that? Looking pretty cool, if you ask me. I like this one. Look, see, now I'm having fun with it. I was stressed, but we cool. See, guys, I stress too. It's okay. It happens. Okay. Shall we lay out where the tree is gonna go? Totally up to you how high you want to put it, where you want to place it. But with black on our brush right now, we're literally just going to add where the branch goes. So I'm just making a big branch with pure black. See how the line got thicker at the bottom? It's because I started with little pressure on my brush, and as I got down, I pressed harder, and it made the line a little thicker. It's not a perfect line because it's a tree branch. We don't want it to look like perfectly straight. Right? And again, with a little bit of water, but not too much on your brush, you're just gonna go, like here's my brush. And we're just making some texture, like I'm schlobbing is the best way for me to say it again. Lightly at the bottom of where the tree base is gonna go, I am just lightly patting. I'm just Robert Pattersoning some paint at the bottom, okay? We're gonna paint a lot of red over top, but it is nice, like kind of sticking to that dark to light idea to have this at the base of the tree, and the rest will be red. We don't want to fill the whole tree. We're going to keep that red. But see how it's just like a messy schlob? That doesn't matter. Who cares? Okay. One thing that I'm sorry that I probably should have got us to do this earlier on, but it doesn't really make a huge difference that we're doing it now. We're just going to make the base a little bit darker than what it is by going back into our black and adding a touch of white because we want it to be pretty dark. Just painting up and down, I am just going to add this darker color and see how I'm only going up and down, again being very conscious of my brush strokes. It's okay if they're rough. A little bit of paint water on my brush. You can kind of pull some of that black down. But we are just trying to add a little, like I said, I should have probably done this from the beginning, and I apologize for that, but we want to show that these are different planes. Like this is the background and that there is space in the front. So by adding this darker color, it brings it a little more to the front. Because again, like this is the type of stuff that I learned at art college. Like when I say I didn't learn how to paint, but I learned things like to trick the eye or to let people, like to show people what you want. Like for example, I want to show that this is in the foreground, so we're going to choose foreground to be darker and the background to be lighter. So everything that's close to us should be dark and everything far away should be light. Or, but if you want, you can change it up on a painting. You can make everything in the distance dark and everything in the front light. But you just have to stick to one or the other. So when I had the foreground, the same color as the background, your eye would be like, oh, what's happening here? So I am just pulling that paint down. I didn't go left to right once. I just went straight up and down, up and down. And how's that? That's kind of cool. If you want to like kind of continue that blend look, you can go in with just a wet paintbrush. There's not paint on my paintbrush, just water. And you can kind of go in and play with those lines, buff them out a little bit. But how's that? Pretty good, pretty good. And it's only 9:15. We're doing good. Just remember you said that I don't do scapes, but it looks good so far. Tristan, thanks for just being the positivity fairy today. Every day, but today especially. When I doubted myself. Because it's just been slobbing paint around, you know? It's my jam today, I guess. Okay, and the one other thing that we are going to do before we bring out the red is map out where we want to put that lamp. Again, you can use a ruler if you want to be precise. You can eyeball it if you want to be like me. Lazy. Let's decide where we want to put it. I'm just going to say it's going to go right about here. And I'm just going to draw a black line straight down from here. Straight down. Okay. At the top of that line, you can make a little tiny rectangle. Off to bed, up early, enjoy your Thursday. Always great to see you, Bubsy. I know you wake up crazy early. You crazy girl. Thank you. Good night. Thanks for hanging out as always. You're the best. Okay. To make this lamp, it's basically a rectangle. For some people, it's easier to draw a straight rectangle and then bow it out on the sides. For some people, it's easy to just bow it out on the sides. Do you know what I mean by that when I say make a rectangle and then bow it? The top of that light is just another rectangle that goes out on the sides. To kind of explain what I mean by bow it out on the sides, like, let's see if I can do it easy here. For some people, it's easier to draw a straight, regular rectangle, okay? And then draw the little side bends to add it all together. For some people, it's easy to just draw it out, bowed on the sides. But that's your cup of tea. Yeah, I put it on the side because I just felt like the painting was a little balanced weird, that there wasn't anything on the left. But hey, if you can put it wherever you want, right? Beauty of painting. I just felt like it would be better balanced on this side. And then on top of that, there's a smaller little rectangle and a bubble, a ball, a circle. 3-to-1 flames, end of the first. Wow, that just makes... I feel like it was just a minute ago you said 6 minutes in, and now we're already done the first. So now I'm got a little more pep in my step. Okay, how's that? We've got a lamp. We've got the base of a tree. We've got a cool background. We've got basically the Eiffel Tower complete in our eyes. What is next? We're going to take out our red. I'm using a... I don't even know how to say that. Pyrrole red. Nice bright red. I probably took out way too much, but what can you do? And we are... This is the time to change your paint water. Let me go change mine. I'm usually prepared with 2, but today I'm not. I was prepared with everything else but that. But our paint water is gray and black and white and gross, and it will muck up our beautiful red paint. So change your paint water. Okay. Okay. We've got red. We don't need a be right back sign. And our painting is really coming together now, you guys. Let's So Google says that it is an aromatic organic compound. Why red? Who knows? You mean like what, pyrrole? Is that what you mean? An aromatic organic compound. I always have a health and safety on it, and it always tells me that it like may cause cancer, which is just great as I'm like filled in it. But if I die by my craft, I die by my craft, I guess, hey? Okay, we are going to get a medium-sized brush. Remember, it can be square, it can be rounded if you want. It can be whatever you wish. I'm gonna do it in square for fun. It's basically the same thing. But to start, we are just gonna go straight into that red. We want a little bit of paint water on our paintbrush. And we are going to just, I've said it once, I said it again, with no rhyme or reason, kind of just pat, 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 tap, tap, tap. Good night, Daryl. Thanks for the wave. Tap, tap, tap on these little petals on top of the black. We want the black to stay at the bottom. You can even with your finger rub it, like tap it in if you want. As I just said, it like my paint has cancer causing elements in it. I'm like, just get your hands in there. But look at how like there's not much to it. We're just kind of slobbing that on there. And it's nice to not load your paintbrush too much, because the more paint you use, the lighter the paint will go on. It'll kind of go on a little sandpapery. It'll add some nice texture in there. So I'm still using that same paintbrush. Decide how high you want the tree to go. It did pop, hey? It makes such a nice difference to it. Again, I wish I could find the actual artist who painted this originally first. I put the website, and I will in my YouTube as well, of one website that I found it on. It's a beautiful piece. But I think the one we're looking at is like a digital representation of a traditional one. But it was just like the loophole just never ended of all these new... of this painting being reproduced like a million times, so I couldn't find the original. But don't worry, guys. I'm never gonna say that I'm gonna claim that this is mine. This is whatever I wrote at the bottom there. What does that say? A booty, a boaty, a boaty. See, now that you've laid out where most of the tree will go, you can go in with like thick globs of paint if you want. Like I'll show you up close. Like, you see that texture on there? Like, why not just slob on some nice, thick leaves? And it gives your painting some cool, like, depth from afar. I'm trying to get a good angle so you can see. Yeah, there you go. See? And you slob on some thick chunkies. to get some cool texture, some depth, to feel like a which guy is it that did, like a Monet? I never know. Okay, so there's some red there, and even though I'm pretty sure there was only some red in the lamp in this picture because it was in front of the flower, just to bring a little bit over here, I'm just gonna slob in some red onto the top of this lamp. Look who it is! We've got a mustard tiger! Hello! Oh my god, stop. I can't even... I forgot about our conversation about that word. Okay, how's that? I truthfully wasn't gonna paint people. Because these are just like little, again, slobs. It's just like little shapes of red. I don't know, I'm just gonna, if you want to do a person, I'm just gonna copy what they did in this picture. We're just gonna do a couple little red lines. This is an emo lover's dream. It is, hey. Don't feel like you have to put those red shapes in there if you don't want. This is just gonna imply people. I don't really know what I'm doing with that, but we'll figure it out. Okay, and I'm moving a little quick, but our paint's still wet, and that's good. We want to bring some more red, but now add a touch of white in there. Our class is dark to light, and I feel like we already listened to the song. I'm sorry. Okay, so I've got a little bit of a lighter red, like almost a pink. And we're gonna add some more little slobby. It's literally the only word I know how to describe this process. And we're just gonna put kind of the same as what we already did when we did with the red, but we're just gonna stick to the top of the tree. Right, there you go. See how that already just added a little more depth to that tree. One of my favorite words, depth, as well. At the start of my paint nights, it was always just like, let's add some depth. You want to get some depth in there? Just some depth. Realistically, you can flick on some paint if death. My favorite word, death. You can flick some paint in there too if you want. Totally on option as well. Let's get some more of that light red over here to keep bringing the same colors all throughout. Do you guys want to flick some? Let's flick some in there. One thing I don't suggest to flick paint with a square brush. They're not the greatest. But okay, I'm gonna mix some of this light pink whitey color to flick it. We're making that chocolate milky consistency, and let's just flick. For some people, you might want to lay a piece of paper down if you don't want the speckles to go somewhere you don't want. You can get a wet rag to dab them away. See that in the tree, though? That added some fun. And even to your pretend little people down here, you can add like a swipe of that lighter red. Okay. You guys, we're at the last step. Basic, yeah. Second last step. we are gonna need to bring out the thinnest brush that you are comfortable with working with. Like maybe we're going small. Like maybe we're going this small. Whoop. Realistically, with these other brush, like you can, with this brush that I've used before, you can make the same thinness of lines with this brush as with this brush, just because see that nice point at the top? You just have to be able to control your pressure better. So for some people, it's just easier to go with a little guy. So we are going to go into our white, and we're going to add the tiniest touch of black to it, because we don't want it to be pure white. We want it to be a lighter gray. Nikki's going to paint at 7 a.m. when she gets home. Yes! I'm excited to see what yours turns out like. Okay, I'm making this light gray. It's almost white, but it's not, because we still want to be able to put a pure white line over top and for that pure white to show. Using a light gray, it probably looks like white to you. What can you do? Okay, and now we are going to just define. Okay? You can start in a less stressful spot. You know that black branch that you made? On the top half of that branch, you're going to just add a couple little specks. See how it's not a straight line, it's just kind of a rough. You can even add some like little lines like a tree in there if you want. You're gonna come to this little blamp, and we're gonna put that almost white but not white on top of that pure black, and see how that just like pops it out already. I love lamp. And we're going to go inside that line that is the stem, and we're not covering up the whole thing, but we're going in the middle of it. And you see how that line, oops, it got a little crazy at the bottom, but that white line just brought the whole piece or the whole lamp forward in space. See that? Do you see that? Okay, and we're moving. We're basically just kind of going over these lines, those main lines that we made to visualize. So where was this first one? It was across the top. Right? And above here there was also another one. Again, it's okay if it's not perfect. You can go back in with your black to clean it up. But we're going to put a nice white line over top of them as well. Do I watch battle rap? So Gnome was my very first battle rap that I saw. And I painted Smack after. Actually, that painting of Smack is on his way to him as we speak. Yes. Which is so exciting. Sound effects necessary. Exactly, Dresden. You are a pro. You know what's up. But see how we're just defining some of those lines? We're going to come up in the middle here as well. See where those lines are going? Oops, oops. And same on the sides, like you're gonna add a little bit of a line here to imply that there's a bar there. With these little lines, it's just forming slowly. Oh my gosh, look what I did. I got red on my wrist and then I just bled it onto the rest of the painting. Whoops. So I'm just using a wet paper towel to wipe that off. Let me see here. We've got that. you see me on another channel, like me live on another channel, or they were talking about it on another channel. I've only been on the live show, like the caffeine morning show. With Cake and Nathaniel. But they might have talked about it on another stream. Because I'm hoping, again, anytime that there's a big event, I'd love to paint somebody in it. That's what I got. You guys see how I just went back into the lines that we've already went in that dark black and just kind of bumped some of them up with this light gray. And you can fill in that top shape too with a little bit of that dark gray or light gray. How are we feeling about that? And again, see if you don't like maybe some lines in here, you can go back in with these spaces and redraw in some of those shapes if you're feeling like you are missing out on some of them. Or you can come up here and add some more shapes in this ledge if you want. It's all about just like throwing on some different colors. Oh dang, you missed up one. How am I gonna catch up now? Ilham, great to see you first of all. But you know the drill. Catch it on my YouTube, y'all. You wish you came on earlier, you could have sip and paint with me. Hey, Theo. Next Thursday, you can do it too, if you want. I'm here every Thursday, 8 p.m. Mountain Time. And we paint something different every week. We're painting a gorilla next week. It's gonna be cute as heck. You'll find out on my Instagram or on here. I post on my caffeine bio what we're painting, my schedule. I'm just going through with this same light gray. This is water-based. This is acrylic, all acrylic paint. Yeah. Okay, so last step or two is still using that same light gray we've got and a bigger brush. Don't worry guys, you can touch up for as long as you want those little dots and lines. Like, see, remember, like, look at it close up. It's pretty, like, messy in some spots. But again, it's what it looks like far away is all that matters. But to finish it off, we've got that same light gray that we've just been using, and we are just gonna lightly, on the tips of these trees, add in, again, some messy paint lines. There's a little bit of water on my brush. You can even go in with a dry brush once you've laid it on and spread it around a little. I'm using that same gray that we were just using. I don't have loads of water on my brush, but a little bit. Okay? And then, to finish it off, let's get some pure white, everybody. We need some pure white on our paint brushes. So how long have I been painting is probably the most asked question I get on here. And it's like my whole life. As long as I can remember, I've been painting. But I have been doing it as a full-time job for about almost 6 years now, guys. Almost 6 years. No, 5 years. 5 and a bit. But I've just always enjoyed art things. So I've always been a painter or a drawer or a doodler or whatever. Okay, we got that pure white. So you're gonna have a wet paintbrush. Like my paintbrush is wet. But I'm gonna lightly tap my pure, I'm not putting it into the water, it's just like, I dried it off a little bit. And we're going right into that pure white. And we're just gonna lightly tap, tap, tap. Pure white on top of these trees. We're not gonna go all the way down to the center, we're just gonna go on the outsides. This pure wet paint, but you can kind of get some access off. So you're just lightly dabbing, dabbing, dabbing. Almost to the middle, but not all the way to the middle. We want the pure white to be closest to us and to show that it's going into the distance a little bit. We're also going to tap, tap a couple white, pure whites on top of this tree, but not too much. And the same, I'm just using a little bit of a smaller paintbrush, but same thing, not much water, pure white. And we are just gonna add it right into that lamp, so just a little bit of that red peeks through. That has to be an amazing feeling to do what you love. Hey, you aren't lying. It is very cool. It's the hardest work I've ever done in my life, but it is very rewarding. I won't deny that. I won't deny that. But we are still using that pure old white. And like I told you guys, I'm a sucker for a white highlight. Let's just start where we were putting that light gray. We're gonna sneak a little bit of pure white. Like let's say in the middle of this tower. We're gonna add a little pure white there, a little pure white in these spots. Again, it doesn't have to be a perfect line. It probably shouldn't be a perfect line. It can be broken a little bit because we're just trying to show a little bit of reflection, a little bit of highlight. I'll bring it closer to you. Again, use whatever size brush you feel comfortable with to make nice little thin lines. What's my Instagram? You're the best. Conveniently, I'm Taytayski across the board. I'm Taytayski on caffeine. I'm Taytayski on Instagram, YouTube, Etsy, Patreon, which is coming soon. My website's Taytayski. If you put Taytayski somewhere, you'll find me. But my Instagram, Twitter yet? No! Except for Twitter. Twitter, I'm Taytayski. I think. Or, yeah, I think I'm Taytayski. Until that other Taylor lets me have it. But are we seeing close up? Like, see how there, this was the dark, light gray we put, and there's just a touch of white. There's a touch of white in the middle of that line. Touches of white just throughout kind of add just little subtle pops of highlight, reflection. Really, you can go through and add lots of little, like, you could pick at this thing all day, okay? Thank you, Theo, for the follow. Appreciate it. Like I said, Instagram's my baby. I post on it the most. I have my business to thank, or Instagram to thank for my business. I put a lot of love into it, so I always appreciate when you guys follow and participate. The whole shebang. Okay, sorry guys, I'm just like picking away like a jerk over here. But she's basically complete. We just have to add these white streaks down the middle. And I am doing it with a pretty watered down white. So I did that chocolate milky consistency on my paintbrush, and I'm painting just down. The paint is more water than paint on my brush because it is that chocolate milky consistency. Hello, Ray Bay. Thank you. And see how I'm just pulling straight up and down. I'm going back over top the spots that we did. And the beauty and the secret behind this dainty, reflecty white light that we're doing right now is just water in that paint. It's more water than paint. Because if you do this with thick paint, you'll see it's just thick chunks. It won't do that nice blending, but I'm basically just pulling water down on a tiny touch of white on my paintbrush. And I'll bring it close. It's going to dry a lot different than what we're seeing right now. You see that? Pulling that down. Can you get pictures done? So usually that is my job, is I paint what like people order paintings off of me. But I'm currently, when it comes to like I do my live stream paint nights, I have a children's book that I'm illustrating right now, and I have like over 70 other paintings that are already on my list. So I'm currently closed to new orders. But if you're following me on Instagram, you'll see I will post on my Instagram when I open those things up again, open my books up again. And then, yes, pictures can be done. I just feel bad talking about it now because I don't offer that service this second until I catch up with my current crazy workload. How's that feeling? Yeah. So the tower's done. The tree is done. The white reflection is done. We're basically complete. We're just going to wait for these things to dry to just bump up some black to like make this kind of imply a person. And other than that, I think she's done. I'm happy with this one. The only thing that, yeah, like when I'm looking at this picture versus the picture down below is our contrast is just a little off. We just need a little more black, pure black, to just bump up and separate some things. And then we have a complete painting. Like we'll even, I can show you right now with the pure black, like for example on the tree, like you can bump up that branch or that trunk that we drew with some pure black, or you can add another little branch in there if you want, make it more tree-esque, I don't know. We get Dresden's approval. Thank you. Nikki, I can't wait for you to try it. So I'm just adding some branches in there. I don't know. What else can we do? If this is a little wet, you are going to have to wait. But I'm basically going to just draw, or paint, sorry, this is paint. We're just going to bring that pure black in to reinforce that, I just called it an assembly line. That's weird. Horizon line, okay? So again, I'm still painting straight up and down, but roughly, not like I'm painting like tree trunks or anything, but that's what I'm like imagining as I paint this horizon line here. And just going straight up and down. See how already that dark line already just like reinforces this whole front space. You're so excited you want to go home and do it right now? Okay, well, let's hope that we don't have the same issue with the tiger one where it takes forever to load and that it will be ready for right when you get home. That was so weird that day with the... It took like 2 days to upload to YouTube. It was so messed up. I will die. Okay, YouTube gods, here you can't put Nikki through it. Okay, and even like we did before with like just a wet paintbrush, you can take that wet paint that you have already drawn on there and kind of play with it and pull it down to kind of imply those shadows or reflections. And see, when I'm always doing this, I'm rinsing off because I don't want to pull too much of the paint, so I am like rinsing off that extra paint on my paintbrush or on my paint rag. Okay, and to make this look like a person, I guess, hey, we started, we gotta finish it. To make this look like a person, let's just add a circle head on there. And let's just draw 2 lines out of that shape. That like could be a person. The black took it to a whole new level of perfection, right? See, it's values are important. And on this little blob, I'm literally just gonna do a black circle. I'm gonna do 2 little lines coming out the bottom and be like, oh, that's a person. I don't know. Let's say this one's a person too. Black little head on top. Let's do little legs. You didn't realize there were people? They don't have to be. That's why I said you guys don't have to do them if you don't want to. But a pure white for that little head. And this one's gonna have a white shirt on. They're all people walking by themselves. That's sad. It's not romantic petty, but... See what I did to make that a person? I don't know. I just put some shapes down. There's some legs. There's a head. That's a human, if you ask me. And realistically, you guys, I think we're complete. It completely depends on how much detail you want. Like I said, you can go back in there, add some more detail in. You can, if we're looking exactly at the picture, like they play a lot with the texture at the bottom, so they like play with more. Let's get some like darker grays in there too. Like, I don't know, let's get some other textures in there. I'm just being picky right now because I'm having fun. In Paris, depression is beauty, says some French guy. Yes. Okay, you guys, I have some good stories about Paris, actually. So my cousin lives in Paris. She is a lawyer, and she's an amazing human. And she's English, and she had to take the bar in French to be able to practice over there. So she like taught herself French and learned like lawyer French, and took the bar and passed. And is now in Paris just being the... She's been there for like 10 years. She's amazing. And now she speaks fluently and whatever, of course. She's great. But when we were there, she obviously showed us around. We were very grateful. And she just told us like stories of like French, of the French. And how like it's still... It's very... she knows that she's still an outsider there. They know that she's not an original French woman, even though her accent is perfect. And she was telling us this hilarious story that just like describes the French, not describes French, but it's a funny story. Of she was eating at whatever, a little cafe or something, and a homeless man came up to the front and asked a man, please, for a glass of wine. And the server, like, poured him a glass and gave it to the man, and the homeless man drank it, and he spit it out, and he said, this is bad wine, what a disgrace, I may be homeless, but I'm still a Frenchman, and I deserve a good glass of wine, or something. And it was, like, a big deal, and in the end, he got a good glass of wine. I just thought that story was funny. Wait, attorney is a language, French is a language. Well, like I just imagine, like, I can't read, like, imagine reading, like, a contract and they have all these, like, crazy legal terms and it's like you don't even know what it's trying to say and you're like, I know this language and I don't even understand. And then you have to, like, add a language you don't even know to it. It's just crazy to me. I just think she's just she's a genius. She's amazing. The most humble human in the world. And Kirsten, shout out to Kirsten if she watches this and does a paint night. That she showed us Paris and it was beautiful and she was great. Okay, you guys. I was just playing around and not really telling you what I was doing, but that's rude. I'm just slobbing some paint around. You can barely speak English properly. Exactly, right? It's crazy to me. She just learned French and just took the bar in French. Like, okay. Je parle français. Un petit peu français. Mais pas beaucoup, juste un petit peu. Parce que je ne parle pas pour beaucoup des ans. Huh? Is anyone French here and can confirm what I'm saying? Or I'm basically just saying random words and you're just trusting me to say it properly. It all sounds like French to me. Yes! My grandpa would be so proud. I always feel so sad. I remember when he used to try to speak to me in French and I was like a little jerk kid and I would respond in English. Just, so I was a jerk. And now it's like, I wish I kept it. It's so good to have another language. Okay, guys, I'm just going to stop picking at this. I'm just gabbing away. Do we have the Eiffel Tower? What do I see is wrong on there? You love hearing their friends get into arguments with their parents. See, my boyfriend is Romanian. They speak Romanian in between them, like their family. And I need to learn it because I hate not knowing what everyone's saying. And then I feel bad because like his parents are obviously way more comfortable speaking Romanian. It's their first language. But then when I'm around, they like have to speak English in their own home, and that's like not fair. So I would love to be able to like speak it with them. But it's a tough language. I've got a couple of guys. Chifach means like, what's up? Chifine, how nice. Pisika, cat. And that is my Romanian. His dad makes this like liquor that's delicious. It's like I call it Romanian moonshine, but it's not really. It's not moonshine, but it's called Vișinată. Vișinată. Whatever. If any Romanians watch my YouTube videos and can say if I'm saying it nicely or not. Vișinată. Zakuska is like a red pepper spread. Zakuska. Okay, you guys. We're having a language lesson today. What's my thumbnail gonna be for Paris? Do I just like Like I'm gonna have a mustache. What does a French man do? Did anyone do the painting? I didn't even ask. Did anyone send in what their Paris painting looks like? Let me see. Doesn't look like it. Make the tower with your arms faces the base. Like this. This is fine. Or I just feel like I have to have a mustache or like a baguette. Like I just have to be like, or like with a cigarette or something. I don't know. We don't have Justin here to tell me what to do. Maybe finger kiss? Mom's been quiet. I know, I need a French hat. I need a beret. Beret? Is that what they're called? Un chapeau? Again, I forgot. Yeah, un chapeau. Yeah. It wasn't brought up until last time. I think it was like Ilham last time was like, you can just Photoshop it. And I was like, oh my god, I could have been Photoshopping it this whole time. All these things. So I can Photoshop a beret and a cigarette and a mustache. I know, Photoshop is cheating, but also not at the same time. You know? The beauty of Photoshop is like, you can fix so many things. I'm at the point where if it looks fake, I think it's alright. Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it. Okay, mon chéri. What should I do to be French more? Just like, yeah, holding like a French flag in it. Fumer une cigarette dans ton chapeau, oui, oui. Yes. I know, I'm gonna Photoshop a mustache for sure. I'm too sensitive. If I draw a mustache, I'll literally break out in a mustache, and we don't need that, okay? We don't need that life. But just what do I do with my hands? The Eiffel Tower. Hold a baguette. I'm gonna just Photoshop a baguette and something else in my hands. What do French people's faces look like? I'll find a clip in there. It'll be perfect. Okay, well, Nikki, I'm excited to see what yours looks like. I'm excited to see what everybody's paint nights look like. Shout out to the real artist who originally came up with this idea. We will find you one day, I swear. It's a beautiful piece. If you watch this on YouTube, send me it. I'd like to see it. Always, if you tag me in a story, I'll share it to my stories. Everybody loves seeing everyone's paint nights. And I'm same old spiel. I suck at streaming right now, you guys, and I'm sorry that I can't give you my all. Caffeine, I'm also sorry to you. Caffeine, I'm sorry. I wish I could just stream all day, every day, but I just can't at the moment. But I'll be back. My other projects they are going, you guys. They're going good. They're due September 7th and September 8th. So time's a ticking, and it's just, we're coming to the end, and it's good. What, can we see what the studio's like right now? Let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 paintings over there. We've got my table of printers and scanners. We got 4, 5, 6 more paintings over there. This whole table is my children's book. All those are all finished pages. I only have 4 left. Whew! It's a journey, but we've got it. It's coming. The book's name is called The Wonders That I Find. Written by Megan J. Ward. She is amazing, and the story is beautifully written. And I think that's where my stress is so high, is because I just want to nail this book because the words are so great. I just want it to be perfect. And it's my first book picked up by a publisher. So it's going to be already published and ready to, like, it's already, well, it's approved to be published already, which is nuts. I will let you guys know. Maybe we'll have like a stream, like a live stream where I like read it to you guys or something. Would that be cool? It's exciting to like imagine it like in the hands. It's still a long time. It's still gonna be a while. It's like a little under a year probably until it comes out fully, but it's got drips. I'm not sure about up drips, but it's got down drips. So that's pretty good. They're letting me be very like messy and creative and myself, which is really cool. Hey, I'll sneak it up. Done. Done. You heard it here first. Ilum, there will be a sneak up drip in the book. I think it's coming out, I feel like it's March 2021, but I could be wrong. I'll have to keep you guys posted on that. All I've got for you is that it is written by Megan J. Ward, illustrated by me, picked up by, can I tell you guys that? I think so. Rocky Mountain Publishers is the books. So for us Canadians, it'll be more exciting, but we can get it to you Americans as well. But okay, you guys, you are the best. Love ya. Thanks for supporting me, even though I have just not been fully here. Thanks for always suggesting things for sure next Thursday, because it's Nikki's birthday and we are painting a gorilla with glasses. Actually, here, I'll show you right here because we have it on here. We're painting this cutie next Thursday at 8 p.m. Ilum, you joining? You painting too? I think it's the perfect week for you. You guys got more notice. Usually I don't decide till Sunday, but we know today, Thursday, that we've got a cutie gorilla coming. Ah, Justin. You caught me. But, hey, you live by an art store. You got no excuse. Buckaroo. Just kidding. You don't have to paint, but it's cool to know that that's what we're doing next week. So, we've got Thursday, 8 p.m. Mountain Time. Always. I'll never leave you guys on Thursdays at 8 p.m. I got you, okay? But other dates are up in the air. Me and Kenzie are planning a fun one, so we'll figure that out, okay? Okay? Bye, you guys. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the props. Thanks for the hangout. Oh, Kenzie's here. There she is. So, look, you guys. You heard it here first. I hope you guys have fun. Had fun. And I hope I see you next time. Have a good weekend and good night. Adieu. Au nuit. Au revoir. Bonsoir. One of the above. Okay? Bye, guys.